Alrighty, welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Swimbait79 here with another video. Today's video is going to be all about punching. Everything I know about pitching and flipping your bait into the thickest cover and jerking a giant fish out of it. One of the greatest feelings. Excuse the background noise as we have still some party and pleasure boaters out on the water. So let's get right into this video. Flipping to me is one of my favorite summertime things to do, especially if you have the right type of water and the right type of cover to execute this certain technique. Even if you don't have the right thickness of cover and stuff like you see on the TV and YouTube and all these pros pitching and flipping super thick and heavy stuff. And I've seen it for so long that I've wanted to always try it myself. So about 7-8 years ago, I really got into it and I kind of fine-tuned it for my liking. It is a very efficient way of fishing in hotter months. This can transition into the colder months as well. You just can't go with the big heavy weight like you do, so you can kind of play with this and manipulate this technique for your liking to be utilized and used all year long. Even in the wintertime, you drop down to a 1/4 ounce, 1/8 of an ounce, little tungsten flipping weight with a downsized hook. You can totally do the same stuff you do in the summertime with this. It's not going to be, the pace of the summertime, because you can get right really quick with this. 10 minutes, I can catch 20 pounds of 20 pounds of fish, easy. It's just it's a great technique to get into, and it can be utilized by any average angler out there that's wanting to put in a little bit of time to figure this out. The biggest question mark to me about this technique, as far as gear, is the hook situation. We're gonna get into that here in a second. But far as that goes, is pitching and flipping and where to do it. Anywhere that there's thick cover. I prefer the thick grass, the grass mats, to thick pads, little clusters, maybe even sparse pads, just flipping a bait around. It really helps to have about 3 to 5 foot of water below the cover. I feel like it's a lot more productive the more water you have around the cover. But grass and lily pads is not going to just restrict you to that. You can utilize this pattern with wood. You can utilize this pattern going around flipping docks. The reason we use the bigger weights in the summertime is to make the bait fall faster, to go penetrate the thick stuff. The 1 ounce weight is what I highly recommend starting out with. 65-pound braid, just your basic old 7'6" heavy action rod. Your just basic flipping rod. This is a Mach series rod, 7'6", heavy action. Gotta get the camera to focus on that. Maybe not. Probably not. Anyway, moving on. This is a rated 7'6", heavy action, fast taper, 3/16 ounce to 2 ounce. The lure weight is rated. 15 to 65-pound braid. I highly recommend utilizing the 65-pound braid when you're punching the thick stuff. You can get away with sparser stuff with 50-pound braid. I like the heavier rods. You can really lay into the fish a little bit more than you can with the softer rod. As far as that, let's go ahead and get right into this. For the super thick stuff, I like a type of setup that looks similar to this. The bait's kind of all funky right now, so but this is what my overall rig is. I catch a lot of fish with this. I use a double bobber stop at the top, and that simple reason is for when you're pitching flipping all day long, thick cover, you will wear out that first bobber stop. So if you have just one bobber stop on there and you wear that out, you got to cut this off and retie this whole rig up. That's just, I don't want to have to do that, so I utilize the two bobber stops. So if I burn through one of them, I still have one of them on there, and I won't have to do it in a day's fishing, which is the last thing you really want to do. As far as hooks go, I've come to find out that my new favorite hook is going to be the Gamakatsu Super Heavy Cover Hook. I like it in 5/0, and I'll tell you exactly why. All the past hooks that I come across have plastic keepers. You can see that. The plastic keeper, but I put a piece of shrink wrap. Well, that one doesn't have it. We'll see about this one. This one neither. Okay, so I don't have one of the old ones that bust off, but this plastic piece right here, this keeper right here, this thing will bust off. I'm talking about this part right here. So that part's going to break off, the part that holds your bait on it, the bait keeper part of it. That's why I put the heat shrink up and over this. It looks like this without the heat shrink on there. Has a piece of monofilament. I think this is an owner hook. Anyway, it has a thick piece of monofilament with a bunch of thread on there. The hook is top notch, really good. I just simply put a piece of heat shrink on it. I did not compensate for the heat of the heat shrink and this monofilament. The heat will make the monofilament shrink, so therefore it's kind of rendered useless. But it is a nice little tip for you to try to maybe beef up some of your hooks and the hook keepers or bait keepers on there. Just simply put a piece of heat shrink on there, heat it up. When I'm looking for hooks on for flipping, I'm looking for closed eye hooks. I don't want any kind of gap or anything like that. So these new ones that I found, the Gamakatsu ones, they have a closed eye on there. It's like welded shut. And the hook keeper right here, that always breaks loose because it's plastic. This one's steel or aluminum, one or the other. They either welded it on there or soldered it on there. I've already knocked a couple of these loose, which is the end of the world. I could easily just put a piece of heat shrink on it and stiffen it up, or even super glue it on there. But as far as that, the hook, I never had any problem with the hook bending out. I do not fish with trocar anymore. I had a very big heartbreak of a gigantic fish utilizing a trocar hook. So I do not even buy those anymore. I highly recommend not using those for pitching and flipping heavy, super heavy cover. So I moved on to Gamakatsu. This is my new favorite flipping hook. 5/0, 4/0. I like the 5/0 just for the bigger, to be able to hold a bigger bait on there. So we talked about the hook. Now let's talk about the weight. Depending on how thick stuff you have, you can utilize either the 1 ounce or the 1.25 ounces. You can bounce up to 1.5 ounces if you needed to. So this is 1.25 ounces. It's just going to fall down a little faster. If you flip for about an hour and you're not getting a bite, then you downsize, maybe go to 1 ounce, maybe 3/4 ounce. Really up to you. As long as the weather is warm, I will utilize the heaviest or the lightest weight possible, but I still want to penetrate the cover. Sometimes utilizing a heavier weight in certain times is the best, just for the quick, fast, give them split second to think about biting it as it shoots right into where they're at. Catch them off guard a lot of times. So that's hook, weight. Now the line, I suggest using 65-pound Power Pro is what I utilize. This is all wet and stuff, but I utilize buying the 300 yard spool, just for the simple fact that the 125 for bait casters is like one and done. At least this, you can get a couple to maybe 3 loads off of a 300-yard spool. The next thing we're going to talk about is bobber stops. You can easily buy these from Amazon. I buy them from Amazon for, I don't know, 11, 12, 13 bucks for like 500 of these. They're in the size medium. There's black little rubber pieces that'll keep your weight pinned. They're very inexpensive compared to some other companies that charge you $5 for a single pack of these. The other part to flipping that I love to use, sometimes it means the difference of getting bit and not getting bit, is the old Spike It Dip and Glow. It's a very good product. Totally changes the appearance of your bait. Mimics a crawfish very well. In highly pressured waters, that could be the difference of getting bit and not getting bit. Some days it's the difference of not getting bit and getting bit, is utilizing that orange dye. No matter what color your soft plastic is. It's a wonderful product. I use it for my swim jigs. I use it for my flipping baits. I use it for some of my swim baits. But it's just a great product. As far as weights go, I love the ounce to ounce and a half. I hadn't particularly fished the ounce and a half just yet. This year I just picked up the ounce and a quarter, so I'm already bouncing up a little bit in weight. I still get hung up, so I feel like this next summer I'm going to be bumping up to an ounce and a half weight. The bigger weight you use, I suggest the bigger rod you need, the longer rod you need, the more power you're going to need. For that simple fact, this rod right here is my new love right here. It is a Johnny Morris Carbon Light. You can purchase this at Bass Pro Shop. It is a 7'9" heavy action rod. I've featured this rod a few times on my channel. The rod is rated 1 to 4 ounces, 12 to 30 pound line. I got 65 pound braid on there. I got a 200 size reel on there. This is for big top waters. It can double as a flipping rod as well. I use it for bigger top waters, bigger swim baits. But just the original combo right here with the 100 size reel spooled up with 65 pound braid. It's a perfect rod for this technique. It's long. It gives you a lot of torque. It gives you everything that you need, enough leverage to be able to jerk the fish out of that thick stuff. It's just a all-around great rod. But you can totally do this technique utilizing a 7'6" heavy action rod. As far as baits go, you can flip with anything. Any kind of beaver style bait can be used. I simply like this bait that I'm fixing to show everyone. I found this from Flippin tubes. I love flipping tubes, but I hate how soft the tubes are and the fact that tubes come hollow. So if they would make a solid tube, it would be a great flipping bait. Well, this right here is how about a craw and a tube put together? I know this is kind of all funky looking and shit, but it flips really good, goes in the cover really well. Doesn't tear up too easily, but it does tear up. There are ways you can manipulate the bait to make a few more catches out of them. This color is Plum Crazy. It's literally like a blue-green flake on a green pumpkin body. Has black flake. Very cool color. Sorry, you guys probably can't even see that shit through the plastic. There's some purple to it. Very cool. It's been getting chomped on. I couldn't tell you which one's better either the peanut butter and jelly, the PB&J, or the plum crazy. Both have been getting smacked up, especially at my Flippin lake. If you hadn't seen any of my newest and latest live streams, you should check them out. It's the technique that I've been utilizing and doing a lot lately. I'm trying to get away from these stupid hooks that I have to kind of hook up to make better, but it is what it is. I know flipping hooks are going to be coming around better sooner or later. But I love flipping. It's how I caught my biggest fish when I first was starting off bass fishing. I caught a 5-pound, 8-ounce fish in Texas. Pitching and flipping just a normal beaver style bait. That was years ago. As you can see right here, this is what I got going on. When I say that those baits work, this is what I've been doing. This is what's been going on. You can see all those live streams. I've been catching the shit out of some fish with the old punch rig. That's about all I got for y'all for this video for the punch rig. I love it. It's a technique that needs to be done more here in the Pacific Northwest. There is another type of punch rig that I will explain before I do go and cut the video off. It's called a slither rig. You don't hear much of it anymore, but there's some punch baits or punch weights that come with a little collar on it. This is a 1/2-ounce punch or slither rig weight or punch weight. The collar is built for a skirt. So now this weight will slide up and down your line, and it has a skirt on it. So it gives the appearance of a jig, which is a pretty cool little thing to do. I tend to do this in the colder months. Once it gets into the summertime, I totally just go with a bare craw. I'm going to be punching the thickest stuff, jigging it up or down once or twice, pulling it out, making the next pitch, just repeated. Sometimes you don't even have to touch your bait. Sometimes I do. You can totally practice your mechanics of this technique in the off season and become very well. How I got with my technique and my mechanics of pitching and flipping the bait out there. It's really only good for about 15 to 20 feet out in front of you. After that, it starts to get too much of a horizontal presentation. You want to keep it a vertical presentation as much as you can. Other than that, I hope every one of you try this technique and let me know how it goes. Other than that, I appreciate all the new subscribers. I appreciate everyone watching the new live streams, as I'm looking at probably starting to go live stream at least once a weekend. Other than that, I appreciate all the love. Until next time, Swimbait 79 out.